Okay, looks like. So, how you doing? I'm Keno from STEMwithKeno.com. And today is the SIFT weekly live stream, or U.S. Army SIFT weekly. You guys know what it is, okay. So anyways, I'm Keno. I'm Keno from STEMwithKeno.com, and I am an expert on the test. I actually help people prepare for the test, whether they have flight experience or not. And I have a 100% pass rate. So if you are taking the test, even if you don't hire me as a tutor, it is great to just have a place where you can ask questions and you can present questions, and I execute them here for you on this channel for free. Now, a couple things. I was talking about a book, and I think what I've been seeing is a lot of my people have really been having some motivation issues and stuff like that. And yesterday I went in and I kind of discussed on the aviation selection test battery live stream, like just stay motivated, stay in the fight. I know it's hard, and even after this mental challenge, you're gonna have a physical challenge because you're gonna have to prepare for the physical fitness tests. No matter whether you're Army, Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard. You know what I'm saying? It's one challenge after the other, and it is not going to stop. Hi, Allie. How are you? So it's not going to stop. It's not going to be over. You're going to have to keep pushing, and you're going to have to keep increasing. Just level after level after level. It doesn't stop. You think, oh, I'm gonna get my wings, and that's it. No, there's going to be more challenges. There's going to be progress checks. There's going to be, just regulations, and then maybe one day you'll even be an instructor, and you'll have to teach this stuff. So we're going to go in now. I'm not really like a book club kind of guy, but I took the cover out because I always take the cover off because I tend to be a little bit rough with books. And so what I'll do is I'll take the cover off and I will, hold on guys. I'm sorry, Facebook guys. I got you guys kind of skewed and I didn't even realize it. Sorry about that. So yeah, I take the cover off. This is a book I just received from Amazon. It was damaged. I'm not going to send it back because my thing is the information. I'll be good to it, but it was damaged when I received it. So check this out, guys. Can you see that little tear in there and stuff like that? I was a little pissed about that, but I'm going to keep the book. But I think this is a really cool book about motivation, okay? David Goggins, that's his name, David Goggins. And he has some powerful videos on YouTube. And I just started talking about it. But the book is Can't Hurt Me. And this guy is a beast, man. Seriously, this dude ran I think he ran 7 marathons in 1 year. This guy's the ultimate marathon. I don't know what you would call this dude. He's like a Spartan or a gladiator or something. But yeah, really, really cool book. But yeah, this is how I'll read my books and stuff like that because I'm pretty, that's right, Albin, stay hard. I'll pretty much read my books like this because I'm pretty rough on books. And so I will actually get this laminated. So I protect this until I get it laminated, and then I'll put it back on the book. So it'll pretty much stay in its original condition and stuff like that. So if you guys are looking for a good read, this is definitely a good read. And so far, I just started it. And I actually wanted to support this guy's book so much. I got the book. I got the actual physical book, which you guys just saw, and I'm actually going to buy the audiobook today. So, you guys, if you need help staying motivated, man, this guy, if his story doesn't motivate you, you guys are just not human. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about it. Okay. So, like I said, every week you guys should be hitting your SIFT books. You guys come into contact with questions that you don't understand. All right? And so this is where you can abuse me. It's free, guys. So, whatever you guys want to hit. Now, if you want to send questions to my email, it is kieno.thomas@gmail.com. If you're connected with me on Skype, you can actually take a picture with your phone and drop it on our timeline, and I will just, present it. And Facebook is super stable. Don't know why. Thing is really, really kind of, it's getting stressful. I'm like, damn, but I'm really, yeah, it reconnects. And then you got guys that are on the channel, or I think they made a big brouhaha about it and stuff like that. Okay, but I don't mean to, sorry, but I don't mean to make this seem like, okay, well, this guy's death was more important than, because it certainly was not. All life, all human life on this planet is precious and special. Okay, so there's two different types of flight conditions that you could be flying in. You could be flying in VFR or IFR. All right, you could be visual flight rules or instrument flight rules. Visual flight rules occurs when I'm just flying and I'm looking outside the aircraft and okay, like let's say if I took off out of New York, okay, I look, oh wow, there's the Hudson River. Oh wow, there's the George Washington Bridge. Oh, down there's the Verrazano, so I must be headed southbound. Oh, Jersey's on that side. Okay, so visual flight rules, there's a couple ways that we can navigate. The first is pilotage. I think you guys have seen a couple of my pilotage videos where you look, you know where you are, you look at your chart. Okay, I'm at this airport, and if I fly south, then this airport is going to be here, or this outstanding terrain feature. Shout out to Colonel Fluker. I remember when I was a junior Army junior ROTC cadet, and we were going through an orienteering class, which is map reading, and he would always say outstanding terrain features. You just kind of got all motivated. So shout out to Colonel Fluker. Yeah, so you're looking for outstanding terrain features because we're going to look at our chart and we're going to fly, and it doesn't matter whether you're fixed wing or rotary wing. Navigation plays out the same way. You have your aircraft, you have your starting point, you have your ending point, and you have features in between. So that's pilotage. The other way is dead reckoning. Okay, I can assume known headings and have winds, and winds will kind of blow me off target. So I will have a certain, what we call a wind correction angle. And with that wind correction angle, I can make some assumptions as far as where I'm going to wind up. So that will be your dead reckoning. And then the third is radio navigation. We tune into a radio, kind of like when you're listening to your favorite radio station. On the radio as you're driving down the highway, or Sirius radio, you tune into a channel that is on a frequency. And basically, okay, I'm listening to, I know, like New York, 107.5, I think that's still WBLS, or Hot 97, or Power 99. So VFR kind of contains, and I don't say they own them because radio navigation is definitely an IFR thing. So VFR is what we see. All right, when we're looking outside the aircraft, we're flying by visual flight rules. And there's certain cloud clearance and visibility requirements. I have to see a certain distance. I have to stay a certain amount of feet below the clouds, and yeah. And I have to fly a certain altitude above the clouds. Okay, and I think visibility and distance. I have to horizontally be away from the clouds. You can't just go up there poking in and out of clouds like that. You can't do it, or you're not supposed to. I'm not saying it never happens, but at any rate, so IFR is instrument flight rules. Instrument flight rules is a situation where I am not going to be, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to be able to see outside of the aircraft. Matter of fact, my visibility will be very limited. Okay, and actually, you know what? I should actually, on the Facebook page, I should show you what IFR basic versus VFR looks like. So follow me on the page, guys. All right. Let's see here. Visual flight rules. Okay. So what you can see here is you can see the pilot in the cockpit, and this is the image I'm about to drop. Okay. So you can see the pilot in the cockpit, and he could see the buildings, he could see the terrain, he could see the horizon, and it is just beautiful. You really don't need much. Again, the YouTube thing, not connected. It's because you can't look outside and see anything. You have to actually be aware of, hey, Keno, you sit down to tell the brain like, oh, these nerves feel pressure. So, and it's something I'll go into because down the road you guys will need this. And kinesthetically, my nerves are like bouncing a lot in your ears. Because I'm actually looking for clouds when I train my students, right? And this is what I'll do. I'll look for a cloud, right? I'll say, you see that cloud right there? It's like, yeah. And I'll talk to the, whoever's the controlling airspace, whoever controls that airspace. And I'm like, hey, look, I need to follow an IFR flight plan. And blah, 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 blah. Go through the motions, make it between two VORs, right? Pick up that VOR, file it, right? And I'll tell the student, you know what? Go ahead and fly through that cloud right there. So, oh, yeah, we can do. Yeah, we're on our flight plan. Fly through that cloud. I want you to maintain level flight as best you can, right? And I have these little suction cups I can put on the instruments, right? So I'll take the coordinator, I'll cover that up. I'll take the attitude indicator, I'll cover that up. And sometimes I'll even take a chart and I'll cover it over the magnetic compass because I don't want them to have any indication that they're turning. I really want them to fly by the seat of their pants, okay? So as a result, what happens is I'll sit there because I already know what's going to happen, right? So I'll sit back and be like, okay, yeah, just straight and level. I'll sit there with my arms folded, and they'll sit there and just maintain straight and level. And they'll come in the cloud. They'll go into the cloud level. They'll come out all kinds of jacked up. Like, I'll hear the start. Why is the star warning horn going on? And I'm sitting there because I'm like, I know exactly what's going on. But we're good. We're a couple thousand feet up, so nothing is going to happen. And I'm certainly not going to let anything happen to the aircraft. So they go in what they think is straight and level flight. They always come out jacked up. They'll come out wings and it'll scare the hell out of them. They'll be like, oh my God. That's the impact I want to have on them. Okay, number one, you do not go and fly in the clouds because you will get yourself in a situation where you don't know which way is up if you cannot properly scan. All right. Number two, you can't trust your senses in clouds. Your optic information is done. Your brain is like trying to search for anything, grab for anything. And this is why pilots get themselves into graveyard spirals, all kinds of weird stuff. And it still happens to professional pilots. But this guy's got 2,000 hours, man. He's been flying this area forever because we get complacent. You can't get complacent. All right. If you get away with something one time, it just kind of that pilot ego is like, oh, shit, yeah, 300 overcast and a quarter mile visit. Yeah, we land like that all the time. And yeah, you know what? You might get away with that. Now, it depends on your degree of proficiency. And then you got to take into account what happens when the instruments go to shit. What happens if systems go to shit? Can you still maintain that proficiency? And that's what I always prided myself in doing. I fly with a guy, and we have these special glasses called foggles where you could only see the panel. You couldn't see outside. So you shoot your approaches with these foggles, and you just be like, okay, I can't see outside, and you're shooting approaches, and you're doing your maneuvers and your procedure turns and everything. So whether you're fixed wing or rotary wing, this is really a big thing, and you can hurt yourself. Now, this is not to scare you. This is to really take your instrument training seriously. And number two, your instructor is going to teach you and give you all the skills that you need. Okay, because your instructor realizes how serious it is, and your flight instructor is a professional. They realize that I just always with my students when I taught full time, I was very serious about this. Dude, you got to know how these instruments work. You have to know how your body works in the flight environment. And it's really, really, really important. All right. So I didn't want to go too far off target. Guys, how I go. So first of all, there's what we call minimum safe altitudes. Okay. First off, you want to be away from the terrain. So we have what we call minimum safe altitudes. And just to read, no minimum altitude applies to takeoff and landing. Okay, so there is no minimum safe altitude when you're taking off and landing because you got to take off. You have to keep yourself at an altitude that if you lose your engine, fixed wing or rotary wing, that if you lose your engine, you can make a landing without harming, you can make an emergency landing without harming people, property, and stuff like that. So let's say we're going from point A to point B. If I filed from point A to point B, all right, this is airport A, this is airport B. I would be looking for airfields along my route. Okay, so as I'm getting here, and they always say if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So let's say if I'm here, let's say if I had it, I can go here. Let's say if I had an emergency here, I can go here. Here, or if I'm close enough, I can go to my destination. So you always have a game plan. And your instructors will, when you start your cross-country planning, as soon as you climb out, you're planning, what if this engine fails? Like Sully. What was that? The Hudson, something of the Hudson, Miracle over the Hudson or whatever, when Sully lost his, his engines because birds flew into the engines. Now, the airplane is pretty much at that point, it is a flotation device, as we all saw. It was a flotation device. The seats are flotation devices. But I'm not even going to critique, because I had some critiques about that. But hey, everybody got out and stuff like that. And it was only critique because he is not from the East Coast. Like, everything tightens up. But everything worked out for him, and that's great. So I'm not going to, I always be like, yo, you should have went this way. But that's just me. Pay me no mind, guys. All right, so yeah, minimum. So if we want to be in an altitude that if we lose our engine, we can make an emergency landing without undue hazard to persons, property on the surface. Now, if we're over a congested area, we want to be at least 1,000 feet above the highest obstacle within that horizontal radius for 2,000 feet. So what we have are, let me see, skyvector.com. I preach skyvector.com to you guys all the time. This is the business for navigation for pilots, man. So let's take an area like we all know. Let me see. Yeah, Lokalani, your area. I haven't seen you in a while, so you know I got to yank your chain a little bit. That's what I do. So Cali, we got Cali out here. We're actually going to take the Oakland area. Give me a second, folks. I'm getting it together. Okay, San Mateo Bridge. Okay, so we have Haywood Executive. All right. Or let's use an airport we all know, but it doesn't matter because what you're going to see is you're going to see this big 2-4. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting out a grid, or I'm clipping a grid, and I'm posting it on the Facebook page. When we're operating in areas, what we have to make sure that I'm 1,000 feet above everything, you have a grid of longitude and latitude. Okay, now I'm posting this and you guys will see it. So you'll have a grid of longitude and latitude lines, all right, and they kind of come like this. All right, these latitude lines are parallel with the Earth's equator, and these longitude lines are parallel with the meridians, or the North and the South Pole. So you will see a maximum elevation figure in the middle depicted. 2, and I think it's a small 4. So sorry, guys, small 4. All right, 2 and a small 4. I'm going to look at this again to just make sure. Yes, the 2 and a small 4. This means that everything in this grid, out of everything in this grid, the maximum elevation of anything in this grid is 2,400. So if I fly in this area and I'm at 3,400, or what we call vertical separation. So this goes into a lot of, your planning your trips and stuff like that. That was a mouthful. Okay. So other than congested areas, we would want to be 500 feet. 500 feet above the surface must be maintained, except over water. Hold on, let me write. An altitude of 500 feet above surface must be maintained, except over open water. Okay, so you can come down a little bit lower over open water or sparsely populated areas. Like I know some guys, they want to like take a photo of their house and everything, a flyover and stuff, and they want like an aerial shot. So if it's a sparsely populated area. The aircraft may not be operated closer than 500 feet to any person, vessel, vehicle, or structure. Okay, so this is in the regulations, and you want to. And I'm actually going to drop a couple questions that you guys can look at all right, concerning minimum safe altitudes and things of that nature. Okay, so we just can't be buzzing our girlfriend's house, and she lives in New York City. That's Class Bravo airspace. You're gonna have Homeland Security probably waiting for you on the ground. Oh yeah, that guy right there. You see, you got some guys in some black uniforms and rifles. Well, yeah, were you flying over in New York City over your girlfriend's house? Well, they wouldn't know you're over your girlfriend's house, but I'm just saying, be careful. Don't do that. Yeah, I don't nowadays. I don't recommend anything that is going to draw attention. What do I mean by anything crazy that's going to draw attention? Because everybody has cell phones. Okay, you're buzzing your girlfriend's house. Everybody. First, people are going to be like, some people are like, "Why is that plane flying so low?" And then the cameras come out. Everybody's got video. You can become a YouTube or a world star sensation just by messing around doing the wrong thing. So I don't recommend doing anything out of whack. And even even when I see helicopters kind of like flying, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I'll see whether it's a state trooper helicopter, because they're pretty much our medevac out here, North Star and South Star. All right, so let's talk about our next topic, guys. All right, so I touched on minimum safe altitudes. Now we're going to talk about basic VFR weather minimums. Okay, and this talk will go into Thursday as I talk about all this pilot related stuff. Okay, rules governing flight under visual flight rules have been adopted to assist the pilot in meeting his or her responsibility to see and avoid other aircraft. So it's not just about seeing outside of the aircraft and knowing where you are. It's also about watching out for other airplanes. Make sure you don't run into another aircraft. All right. In addition, when operating within the lateral boundaries of the surface area of Class Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo airspace designated for an airport, the ceiling must not be less than 1,000 feet. So again, when we had that situation where you had the airfield and the clouds came down to 800 feet, so that was like 800 overcast. Okay, this is not a VFR situation. Okay, we need at least 1,000 feet. Okay, we need at least, the ceiling must not be less than 1,000 feet. If the pilot intends to take off, land, or enter air traffic pattern within such airspace, the ground visibility, statute miles, what that means, the ground visibility must be 3 statute miles at that airport. So we need 3 statute miles of visibility. Sometimes when we land IFR, we might have 500 overcast, which means the clouds come all the way down where there's 500 feet of separation, and we might have a quarter-mile visibility. Okay? But like I said, there are personal minimums. Even though the regs say you could do stuff, doesn't mean, well, the regs say I could do it, just do it. No, you may not have the skill set for it. You know what I'm saying? I developed this skill set as an instructor because that's what I did every day when I was a full-time flight instructor. Tight out west, the south, now northwest and northeast, we get all the crap. We get all the fog. We get the low clouds. We are the IFR guys. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry about you guys with all the sunny weather and stuff like that and everything. Normally, when you guys get IFR, there's thunderstorms activity like really associated with it. But we get a lot of fog and a lot of low clouds up in the northeast and in the northwest, even in the north. With the Finger Lakes and all that in the weather. But we always had like an opportunity to get IFR in. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I got a weather forecast and oh man, the forecast tomorrow is like 800 overcast. I'm calling every student, come out here and get some, because this is the best. I mean, the foggles, that limit your view, they're okay, but nothing beats actually flying into stuff and the distractions, because you get distracted when you pop in and out of clouds. You want to look outside so bad, but you got to stay on your game. You got to, and like it's raining and it's gray, and then you fly into the clouds and it's like gray, 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 gray. And as you get to the top side of the clouds, it gets lighter and lighter, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, and it's blue. It's beautiful blue sky, and the clouds look all white and puffy. But the student wants to look outside and look around. If he or she looks outside and looks around, they're totally going to lose their scan. It's totally going to go to crap. So as an instructor, you still got to be like on them, like, hey, no looking outside. So the foggles, I remember when I was a student, I would wear foggles for a while, even after I got my instrument rating, because I was just like, I want to look outside and just see the beautiful clouds and the blue sky. But yeah, so basic VFR weather minimums. We need 1,000. Ceiling must not be less than 1,000. We need 3 miles visibility. All right. Now there's a memory aid, 3, 5, 1, and 2 for basic VFR weather minimums. 3, 5, 1, and 2. And this is what I would teach my students, 3, 5, 1, and 2. So 3, 5, 1, and 2. All right. So what this means is I need 3 statute miles visibility, 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above the clouds, and 2,000 miles horizontally. 3, 5, 1, and 2. So if I do that and I exercise this 3, 5, 1, and 2 for basic VFR weather minimums, I'm going to keep myself out of trouble for the most part. All right. 3 statute miles visibility. If I just make sure I'm like 500 feet below for cloud clearance. Like if the cloud base is at 2,000, I'm not going to fly higher than 1,500. So I'll stay below the clouds, because an aircraft will have enough time if they're IFR and they pop out and they see me, so I don't want to be closer to 500. Conversely, I want to be 1,000 feet above. If I'm 1,000 feet above the cloud and an IFR plane is coming out of the cloud, boom, he or she has enough time. Oh, there's a plane right there. Okay, bank left, bank right. So this is all about it's separation, as far as we want to be separated from other aircraft. It's not just like the FAA is like, yo, I want rules. Damn it, I just want to control your life. No, it's about safety. All right, and seeing and avoiding other aircraft. All right, so basic VFR weather minimums. All right, there's actually weather minimums, and you should see an airspace diagram, and you can Google airport airspace diagrams, whatever, and you'll see Class A. Class A, all Class A, you cannot be in Class A without being on the IFR flight plan. You have to be on the IFR flight plan, and everybody is turning their altimeters to the pressure altitude, which is 2992. So you should not be ever flying VFR in Class A airspace. You should be on the instrument flight plan. If you're in Class B airspace, which is like the major metropolitan areas, it is 3 miles and clear clouds. Okay. Class Bravo airspace, 3 miles away altitude, except for Class B airspace, 3 miles clear clouds. So Class E, if you're less than 10,000 feet, mean sea level or above. If you're less than 10,000 feet, is 3, 5, 1, and 2. If you're above 10,000 feet, it's 5, 1, 1, and 1, which means I need to be 3 miles. I need above is 5 statute miles visibility. So now I need more visibility. I need to be 1,000 feet below or 1,000 feet above the clouds and 1 statute mile, not 2,000 feet, 1 statute mile horizontally away from clouds. All right. And then we have Class G airspace, which is what we would call uncontrolled airspace. There's no tower. There's nothing governing what goes in. And that is like a whole different spiel, which I'm going to break down Class G airspace. So I just wanted to talk about the controlled airspaces. All right, I'm checking my email for questions, test questions. All right. If everybody can still hear me, please hit bump the. And you will be talking about this stuff in. Aviation pre-flight indoctrination and your initial flight screening phases, guys, that have tested already. And so this is need to know information. I don't just pull stuff out just to be talking about it. I'm going over stuff and I'm talking about stuff that you will be training on, and you need to start reading about this stuff ahead of time. My motto is knowing before you go. So knowing what you need to be talking about and having a good grasp on it before you go is awesome to lessen your learning curve. You don't want to steepen your learning curve. You want to lessen it and make your life easier when you go to flight school. So I'm talking about all this stuff for a reason. No, man, this dude just talking about VFR and IFR for no reason, man. Hate this channel. All right, guys. All right. Okay, so what I want to touch on next. We talked about visual flight rules. We talked a little bit about IFR. We're going to go in depth with IFR, but for you guys that are just going to primary, you will not be really talking about IFR. Now, this is what happened with the Kobe thing. All right. Now, we talked about at the altitude where those guys were at, they did not have VFR weather minimums. Now, there's something called special VFR weather minimums, okay? If you can't maintain basic VFR weather minimums, there's a special VFR weather minimum. Okay, and it must be a clearance assigned by an air traffic controller. So, if an appropriate air traffic control clearance, special VFR, has been received, an aircraft may be operated within the lateral boundaries of the surface area of Class Bravo, Class Charlie, Class Delta, or Class E airspace. So they were in Class Echo. I'm sure. I don't have the layout in front of me, but at that point, they weren't in that, what was that? Was that Burbank? I can't remember. And I'm not going to talk about it too much, because I know it's probably sensitive for some people, but they could fly a special VFR clearance if the ceiling is less than 1,000 feet and you have visibility less than 3 miles. So you have to maintain 1 mile in clear clouds, which means you can't fly into the clouds. You're not allowed to fly into the clouds. All right, I'm sorry, I just got a text. Just came. All right, so for special VFR operation between sunset and sunrise, a pilot has to have an instrument rating. So they have to be instrument trained. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a VFR pilot. I just have a private pilot certificate, no instrument rating. Yeah, I like special VFR. Now, I know of guys that have requested it and gotten away with it, but I don't think so now in this day and age, man. Because, I think you probably could get away with it because pilots are kind of held like to an honor code, kind of. So, unless you're filed like on an IFR flight plan, well, you wouldn't be filing an IFR flight plan if you weren't trained in IFR procedures. So, but to just sit there and ask and then something happens and then in TSP, just fly, blah, 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 maintain, American, blah, 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 center maintain. I just go to the airport and you just listen to the old guys. You got to understand, these guys have been pilots for decades. And they have a lot of information, man. And you just get them a cup of coffee, man. They will just sit and they will talk. And they will tell you things that will save your life. because you got to understand they're old pilots. They've been flying a long, long time. They've seen a lot of things. They heard about a lot of accidents, and they heard about don't do this, don't do this. You know what I mean? Um, Give you an example. What the old timers used to talk about, like if you go to Canada, all right. If I requested fuel here in the U.S., I'm going to get fuel in gallons. So sometimes I might say, okay, well, give me like I don't know. On big jets, you got your inboards, you got your outboard tanks. All right, but let's just say we want 2,000 gallons of fuel. I'm just throwing a number out. And in Canada, they don't measure their fuel. They're under the imperial gallons. So what I'm saying is it's a different amount. So you're thinking you're getting U.S. gallons, and you're getting another, what do they call it, graduation or gradation or whatever amount of fuel, because they don't operate under the same system we do. So when you go to countries, you gotta like, I think now most people are savvy about it now. So when they train your the ground crews and stuff like that, and the fuel guys, they'll be like, okay, the fuel guys know, because before, if the pilot said, yo, yeah, give me 2,000, you might get 2,000 liters. Hey Jim, yeah, why did engine 3 just quit? Look at the fuel gauge. No. So, but I think now ground crews and peripheral people that work around the aircraft have heard, and it's in their safety training, like, sir, are you sure you want 2,000 liters or 2,000 imperial gallons? Or, they'll ask you. I know you're like, no, U.S. So, but before, a guy could be like, yeah, but it's not their responsibility. As the pilot in command, you are the final authority. You're the final authority. So if anything, like, you didn't know that was imperial gallons, bro. I'm sorry, but that's how it feels when the NTSB probably is talking to you, like, you didn't know that was imperial gallons, bro. So you just didn't know you was in Canada, huh? Didn't know they did. For instance, if there's like some major air, even if you are back in the day, we were skilled, and they do things. Go ahead. Oh yeah, no, our corridor. So I'm talking to people. Now you can stay above in their airspace, or you could drop down and go to a common traffic advisory frequency where you're checking in on like a special tower frequency or something like that. But I stay paying it, man, because now you got all these wackos that are not paying attention, and you have an extra set of eyes. Like November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have traffic 1 o'clock southwest bound. Okay, see this guy? Okay, November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has the traffic. Or if I don't have the traffic, November 1, 2, 3, 4, New York approach, November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative contact. I don't see that airplane. I don't see it. So then they're going to keep a tighter eye on you. They're going to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll keep an eye out for it. I'm not saying, but it's still, you have help. That's what I'm saying. Don't try to do everything on your own, because they're so, and if you're lost, you're really, really, truly lost, just admit it. Just confess it. Don't get yourself out of fuel and not knowing where you are. Let them try. There's a procedure. I'll talk about that too down the road, man. But as pilots now, we have too many resources, right? We have too many resources right now to just get out here and hurt ourselves. So, as an instructor, I'm telling you, don't do it. Confess, man. Just, if I'm lost, I'll be like, boom, which I don't get lost anymore. But there were some times during my private pilot phase, I'll be about to be like, yeah, I thought that was the airport. I'm telling you, like, I thought that was the airport. And then, damn, and the river's over here. And what's that lake doing there? And then, but you had to have navigation frequencies where you'd be like, okay, well, if I get lost, I got this VOR right to this VOR. And if I have DME, it'll tell me how far I'm away from it. And okay, bump your speed up, you're a little slow. All right, drop your flaps, drop your gear. You're going to be there all, and that's why it's a very rigorous. It's like, where's your student? Be saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And hey, I've done it as an instructor, and hey, just come get me. I don't care. But um, my instructor, he said, "Where's your student pilot's license?" I says, "Right here." I got my logbook, my endorsement. He said, "Give it here." And actually, no, nothing happened illegal because I was endorsed and all that and everything. And, but anyways, so I gave him my logbook and my student pilot license, or I just gave him my student pilot certificate, student pilot / medical. And he gave me his license. I'm looking like, where's your license? So he said to me, "Give me 3 around in the pattern. If you crash, I won't need it." I was like, but you know what? In a way, you might think, oh, this is scaring the hell out of this guy. But at the same time, oh my God, I got my instructor's license, man. I got to get it back to him. So I got to be on point. And the tower is really, really cool. I said student pilot when November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, student pilot. So the controllers were like, okay, this guy's a student. We're not going to be like, yeah, make a 270 and then climb maintain 2000. We know you're already scared shitless. So, so when you say student pilot behind your call sign, the controllers, they handle you differently. But a lot of people have an ego with that. Throw your ego out the window, bro. For real. You're going to be that big bad pilot one day. Just crawl before you walk and utilize all the services and stuff like that and everything. Even when, I've known guys to be like, just using that just to get like extra help. I don't recommend that. But if you are a student pilot, don't try to act like, oh yeah, my ego. Throw your ego out the window. Your ego's going to kill you. All right. So 301. Gotta go, Coolio. Hey man, I love all you guys for coming in and hanging out with me, and nobody really had any questions. I'm starting to think you guys just like coming to hear my stories. But at any rate, I want everybody to study hard, and I thank you for listening to me and listening to a lot of the aeronautical things and skyvector.com. You're all going to need it if you're going to flight school. You're all going to need it. Like, there's nobody like, oh, I don't need that. You need it. Write it down. Save it as a link. You will need skyvector.com. Piero, thank you. So, guys, thanks for coming out. I will see all my guys during your independent times and stuff like that and everything. I'm supposed to be going out to dinner this evening. But anyway, I'll take care of that. But guys, thank you. YouTube, I don't know what's going on, YouTubers, with YouTube. And if this persists, I think I'm going to have to make some changes. So I would plan on just hitting me on Facebook right now. That's what I would plan right now. If you come to YouTube, just go to Facebook. I'll always put the link up. Because it's distracting. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to talk about something, and then it drops off. Then I got to be like, It's just stupid. And it's never happened before, but I don't know. Maybe there's some more usage going on or demand on the bandwidth or whatever. I don't know. But guys, you guys all be safe out there, and I will see you next week for SIFT. Bye, Facebook. Bye, YouTube. And yes, we are stopping.